any media attention or refocusing of the political, how upset the population is when it's redirected at a local congressional level is a good thing for all of us, because I just feel like there's so much emphasis on the president and what he's going to do for us, when most people don't know what their congressperson has done for them in their district. California has a 12% unemployment rate, it was announced today. We're second to Nevada. Now, if you look at LA County, which is like bigger than most states, I doubt you could find people to talk about what congressperson has done for their district in terms of giving them jobs. I like to see someone facing their congressional district and the people out there and being held accountable and asking, and whatever that word is, dialoguing with them about that. But I think that we need to look at our districts and what's going on in our districts.
Well, let me say two things about that. One, I love what you're saying. I think Wisconsin was a great model. I think Washington is so thoroughly corrupted. That's one of the topics we're about to do. I think you go state by state, you take the fight to the politicians in those areas and ask them for accountability. Now, number two, some people have done that to Fred Upton in Michigan. He's a Republican. He's on the super committee, which is very, very important, and some constituents have taken him on. This is fun. Let's watch.
Well, this is something I know that the committee will look at, because as you can see on this part of the pie chart,
jobs on your chart.
Medicare is $519 billion out of $3.5 trillion.
Where's the job?
The seniors paid for that Medicare out of your checks. They paid.
Excuse me.
Yes, excuse me. Why? I want to know, how is the balance going to, how is the deficit going to be balanced off the backs of the low income?
Let me just say.
Programs like welfare, food stamps. If you're going to start cutting, cut from the top. Cut from the people who can afford to be
Let me just say,
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you had to say. Yeah, I couldn't tell what that chant was either, but I knew it had something to do with jobs.
We want jobs, maybe?
Right.
I mean, I don't think it was we don't want jobs.
It's bring back jobs, I think.
Bring back jobs. Okay.
You know what? I got to tell you something. What we just saw, we spent 7 months on the road for this history series. I talked to over 1,200 people, and everyday Americans. I felt like I was running for office, but I had no office to run for, so I had nothing to lose, or nothing to win. But what you find is that on the local level, there's such a detachment between those who live in an area, in a region, and the congressman who represents them.
Yeah.
They are so out of touch with the malaise that is affecting these various regions, and so much anger and fury that it has given rise to these tea parties and all this other. It's a lack of leadership and a separation of what are.
And I think that's absolutely right.
I don't know. I'm not an expert in it, but that's what I've found and heard over and over and over again.
I think it ties back also to what you were saying earlier about there's too much coverage at the presidential level and not enough at the congressional level, because I think what happens is that there's an awful lot of news coverage in this country, but it's all personalities, and it's kind of like a reality show. So now the big thing in the blogosphere is, would Hillary have done a better job than Barack? And somebody asked me about that on a radio show the other day, and my answer was, I reject the question. I reject the question for two reasons. Number one, because that's a very narrow span of policy options. It's like saying, would Kim Kardashian be better than her sister as the headmistress? Yeah, right. I reject the question. But number two, because it's personality driven. It's Barack is this and Hillary is that. My congressperson is Henry Waxman, and I watch how he votes, but I never think Is Henry a player? You know,
Yeah.
what's Henry really like? What's his marriage like? You know, I couldn't care less. My relationship with, he may be the mustache of love for all I know. It doesn't matter to me. And the reason it doesn't matter is because it's local, it's central, it's about the policy. So if we could shift the coverage and the thinking away from this personality-driven stuff and more to people dealing with their own issues and just kind of saying, no, I'm going to get a little less engaged in Barack and Michelle and the kids or Hillary and Bill, and I'm going to get a little more engaged in what's happening to me. I mean, I know it's easy to say and it's idealistic, but if we could do that the way these people were doing,
it's not idealistic because you know why? I went down this sort of, and I wasn't high when I was doing it. I was just thinking about what a great idea it would be to have local news organizations that actually focused on these districts and then reported that way. And then I went, oh yeah, it's called the local TV news,
which is dying.
where they don't do.
Right.
Then anything of real political value, like everything else in the media landscape, it's all on Sunday morning.
Well, number one, look, the disconnect is in what those guys were chanting about. You know, the guy's got a chart up there, Congressman Upton does, and one of the guys yells out, "Where are jobs on that chart?" Right? The reason Upton didn't put jobs on that chart is because he doesn't give a damn about the people in his district. Why doesn't he give a damn? It's because he doesn't really get elected by them. He gets elected by the people who give him money so that he can run misleading ads and hence collect the votes, etc. So the money matters more than what his constituents actually care about.
Yeah.
There's that massive disconnect.
And the disconnect is, I think, what's scary about the disconnect is if a comic does an act in a big city and it kills, and then that comic then goes to, let's say, Funny Bones in Des Moines. They tailor the act to reflect the audience. This is a guy who doesn't even know his audience. He was giving the same bits. He was doing the same bits that he did elsewhere to an audience that is his constituency. And they were like, not only is your joke not funny, you're not even one of, who are you?
The second part of that was a perfect example of that. He says, you know, the problem is in Medicare and Social Security as you're looking at this chart. Now, who put that chart together for him? Probably Heritage Foundation, the group called ALEC, which is a corporate group that, you know, why do they want to cut Social Security and Medicare? Because they already gave the money away in tax cuts and wars,
But
etc.
check out the arrogance when he says, "Excuse me." Like, don't interrupt me. I've been appointed to this office.
Right, exactly. Right.
I mean, you didn't put me here.
Right.
I got myself here. And then she goes, "Excuse me." I love her.
Yeah,
She's
she's in
back
his
there.
face, yeah.
Bring it. And then the whole place is ready to rip him in half.
And that's because she's right. She has the facts on her side.
Well,
if you notice what she said was, look, the Social Security, Medicare, are a big chunk because we already paid into it.
Yeah,
we already paid into it.
exactly.
It's our money, right? And what Upton's trying to explain to him in his corporate finance chart is how he's going to steal their money. And when they're not interested in that, he doesn't know what to do.